Cooking and preserving with invasive plants. By now you've probably seen some recipes around that use invasive species of plants, or at least plants that are invasive in some areas. And you might be wondering, is that a smart thing to do? We see things like knotweed pickles, grilling knotweed spears. I'm standing here in front of a Lonicera honeysuckle plant, which is invasive in my area. I'm sure that if I look far enough in this, there's definitely some bittersweet coming up in here, and there are probably some multiflora rose sprigs in here too. And if they're not in this bush, I know they're not far off in this yard. These are things that have proliferated here over the last decade or more and are becoming a big problem. So is this a wise idea to go ahead and cook with these things? You know, you can do things like honeysuckle blossom tea. Is that smart? Well, if you actually look up what the experts have to say about it, they say, yeah, that's fine to do. But the important thing is you need to do it responsibly and carefully. So if you're out foraging for bits, pieces, or flowers or berries of invasive species, say, for instance, the blossoms of the honeysuckle or the rose hips of the multiflora rose, you need to do that responsibly and not add to the spread. As long as you do that, you could actually be helping to reduce the incidence of invasive species. They're not saying that we're likely to eradicate invasive species this way. That's probably not going to happen because they are just going to outgrow and outproduce our ability to use them for food. But again, as long as when you go foraging, you're not leaving a trail of seeds, berries, roots and cuttings behind, as long as you're careful about taking all of that with you, every little bit that you eat instead actually helps to reduce the amount that wildlife is going to access and spread. So it's all about doing it responsibly. And yes, this is a way that we can use more of what's in nature, and foraging and making natural products is pretty neat. But you do want to make sure that you know how to do it without adding to the problem. And speaking of that, I think it's time to go find a saw, cut this down, and burn this bush away. I hope you have a great day gardening.